Welcome to It's Later Than You Think, the podcast about living in the moment, enjoying the ride, and making the most out of our lives. I'm your host, Patrick Ailshire, a 40-something-year-old Wisconsinite, sharing my experiences and encouraging you to rethink time, purpose, and everything in between. Let's make the most of right now. Hey there, it's Patrick. Welcome to another episode of It's Later Than You Think. We've all heard the phrase, life is short, but how often do we really act like it? Today, we're diving deep into what it actually means to do what makes you happy. Not someday, not next year, but now. Because the truth is, we're all on borrowed time. And maybe, just maybe, happiness isn't something you chase. Maybe it's something you choose. So let's get into it. I want to start by sharing a quote by Bill Murray. Bill says, "Life is so damn short. For fuck's sake, just do what makes you happy." When I first stumbled across that quote, I thought it was great. I actually didn't believe that he said it. I thought it was just something that someone had shared online, but I absolutely love it. It's quick, it's easy, but it makes a lot of sense. And I want to discuss that topic today, that life is short and it's important for us to do what makes us happy because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. So I want to ask this question. If you knew you only had a year left, what would you do differently than a typical day? Now, life tends to get in the way, and our modern life pulls us into different obligations, busy schedules, taking care of family. A lot of things get in the way. Work. All that stuff. And sometimes those obligations get in the way of the joy that certain things bring us in life. And we either put them on the back burner or we completely forget about them after a while. This episode is a permission slip to realign with your own happiness. And we all assume that we'll have time later to do what we love. But at some point, there won't be a later. Now think back to moments in time where someone that we knew, whether it was a close relative or friend, celebrity, that their life ended unexpectedly. You know, there's moments in time where things come up that we were not ready for, whether it's the pandemic. You know, if you think about average life expectancy, you know, how many good years we actually get. As of 2025, in the United States, women are projected to live an average of 81.1 years. Men are expected to live an average of 75.8 years. So it's a little over 5-year gap. But still, that isn't a lot of time when you think about it. And then I also want to touch on lifespan versus health span. Think about, again, your average woman or man that approaches their mid-70s or even their 80s. What is their quality of life at that time? Have they taken care of themselves, you know, in their twilight years to have a comfortable existence in the final few years of their life? I know for one, myself, I do not want to be miserable the last 10, 15, 20 years of my life. Now, sometimes we don't always have a choice. However, the actions we take today, the things we focus on, whether it's our diet, our nutrition, our exercise, the choices we make, whether to wear sunscreen, to not smoke cigarettes, things of that nature, to be active. Those can all help us in the long run. But again, tragedy still takes place. There's things that just happen that we aren't ready for and our loved ones are not ready for. Now, if we define happiness, according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it is a state of well-being and contentment or joy, a pleasurable or satisfying experience. So when we think about whether or not we're able to find happiness in our lives, how often, and what are those things that make us happy? Oftentimes, the things that give us joy or make us happy are put on the back burner due to other obligations, as I mentioned previously. We also have other barriers such as fear, money, and the inertia of routine. There's maybe certain things that you want to do and you say, oh, I just don't have time, or I just don't have money, or I'm scared to try. Just last week on that episode, we talked about doing hard things. We talked about getting comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to take those initial steps to push forward. Regarding not having enough time, there's a handful of quotes out there about time. One of them I really enjoy was by American author H. Jackson Brown Jr., and he said, "Don't say you don't have enough time. You have exactly the same number of hours per day that were given to Helen Keller, Pasteur, Michelangelo, Mother Teresa, Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Jefferson, and Albert Einstein." And I think that's very true. There's 24 hours in the day. How are you going to spend your time? You've got sleep. You probably have work. Let's say that takes up 2/3 of your day. How are you going to spend that last third of your day? Money. Maybe money is a concern or an issue. You need to be realistic, clearly, with what you should be spending, how you should be spending your money, what you should be spending your money on. However, I would say if you haven't started budgeting, that would be a good place. Whatever your income is, start with that. Got to chip away at whether it's the rent, the mortgage, the other bills with your cell phone, your insurance, your car payments, and so on and so forth. How much money are you allowing yourself for things that make you happy? I'm not saying spend all your money and live paycheck to paycheck and be stressed every couple weeks before the check goes through your bank account. But also remember that you can't take the money with you when it is time to take that big dirt nap. It's a fine line. It's a tough balance. But I try to live my life knowing that, yes, I do have bills to pay and I need to make sure that I am paying those. However, I still have those extra funds to either save some for a rainy day or the emergency account, but also to have some enjoyment in my life as well. I don't want to forget that, because if I wake up every single day and get to every single weekend and I'm just sitting on my money, where's the fun in that? Where's the joy in that? What if you're not sure where to find that joy or to find your happiness? Maybe you've been stuck in a rut and you've been doing the same thing day in and day out for months or years, and you're not quite sure where to go. You have forgotten what things make you happy. It can be little things like a cup of coffee. It can be going for a walk outside. It could be something larger like traveling to your favorite vacation place. Could be something small again, like binging a favorite TV show. Could be calling up a friend, getting together with some friends or family. But I want to give you a couple ideas that you can do today to start aligning with what makes you happy. The first thing, these are just a couple tiny things. The first thing is to do a joy audit. A joy audit is basically writing down things that bring you joy and then figuring out how to get them involved in your life more often. So whether it's grabbing a cup of coffee with a friend or family member, maybe you only do that, this particular friend, maybe you only see them once a year. But if you live close to each other, why can't you make that happen quarterly or monthly? Yes, life gets in the way, but what are our priorities? Think about some other things that make you happy. Taking a dance class, playing your favorite sport or hobby. Think about how you can get those activities to happen more often. Another way to look at that is that, well, my schedule, I'm just too busy. There's too much going on. I don't have the time. A while back, we talked about digital detoxing, which is another great idea. But you can also do a calendar detox. Maybe that's done on your phone with your cellular device. Maybe it's done on a paper and pencil on a calendar you have on your refrigerator, as I look at mine. This could be work-related. This could be personal life. How full are you packing your days and weeks, your engagements after work, your weekends? Are you providing enough time for yourself? Again, there's going to be situations, there's going to be people in life that have a lot going on, whether it's for or against them, and it is really difficult to be selfish in a good way, to allow yourself time to feel joy and to be happy. And maybe those people need to be a little bit more creative than someone who doesn't have a lot going on and that they have plenty of time. And that creativity can go in a few different directions. Maybe you're someone that needs to wake up a little bit earlier to take care of those tasks before you start work. Maybe you have to wait until the kids go to bed. The time is still there. No matter how full your schedule is, there's those 24 hours that we alluded to earlier. I want to end with a few quotes reminding you how to enjoy life. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. And that is by Marcus Aurelius, a very well-known Stoic. He would wake up every morning thinking, okay, I don't want to get out of bed. This is very comfortable. However, he knew that to be emperor, to be successful in his life, he needed to make some moves to get some things done. The Dalai Lama says, the purpose of our lives is to be happy. I've quoted this before, Ferris Bueller. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. We'll end with a few more humorous quotes. The first one from Lucille Ball. The secret of staying young is to live honestly, eat slowly, and lie about your age. Stanley Hudson, character from The Office. Life is short. Drive fast and leave a sexy corpse. That's one of my mottos. And lastly, American educator Randy Pausch had said, I'm going to keep having fun every day I have left because there is no other way of life. You just have to decide whether you are a Tigger or an Eeyore. Reminds me of our quote of happiness. We create our own happiness. The challenge I'm going to give you this week is to think about 1, 2, or 3 things that make you happy. Have you done them recently? Do you have time in your current schedule to do those things? If so, great. Go do one of those things that makes you happy. If not, think about how you can find the time? Does it have to do with money or fear or your busy schedule? Do you need to do a joy audit? Do you need to detox your calendar or do a digital detox so that you can save 5, 10, 20 minutes from instead of scrolling on your phone by taking a walk, by reading a book, by having a cup of coffee or tea? Being happy is good. I want to thank you all for listening to another episode. Feel free to share on your social media. Tell your friends, like and subscribe, and we will see you next week. Have a good one.